안녕하세요. Tommy입니다. Let's learn Korean today. Today I will teach you idioms, 4-character idioms, and adjectives ending with 답다 and 스럽다. This 답다, 스럽다 modify a noun with something like. For example, you can express like human-like. Do you get it? Oh, Tommy, idioms and 4-character idioms are not grammar rules, are they? Indeed, that's right. You're brilliant. It's a good point. But topic level 3 and 4 include questions regarding idioms. Moreover, Korean people often use idioms and 4-character idioms in conversations. So, although they are not grammar rules, I gathered expressions that Korean native speakers use in daily conversation. And also today, I have a confession to make. Actually, I made a small gift for you, which is a small test. Ta-da! It covers lesson number 1 to 5. You can enhance your grammar through this test. I will leave the link in the description of this video. I hope many of you come to try this test. Now, let's dig into today's expressions and become a super master of Korean. 그럼 시작할게요. There are various English idioms like beat around the bush, break a leg, and make a long story short, and so on, right? Likewise, there are many Korean idioms as well. Here, we'll take a look at some idioms that are often used in daily conversations. The first idiom is 김치국부터 마시다. The literal translation is drink the soup of kimchi, which makes my throat sore from thinking about it. 매워요! Spicy! I'll explain the background of this story. In ancient Korea, there was a custom to eat rice cakes with kimchi soup. With the expectation that the other person would give rice cake, someone drank kimchi soup beforehand. Using this analogy, the idiom came to mean jumping into a conclusion with the wrong assumption. In English, it is similar to counting one's chicken before they've hatched. Now, let's read the sample sentences. 시험에 합격하면 뭐부터 할까? What shall we do when we pass the exam? 김치국부터 마시지 말고 공부나 열심히 해. Don't make such an assumption. You should study hard first. That's true. Ouch! Like this instance, the speaker Ka is jumping into the wrong assumption before the exam, right? So the speaker Na said, 김치국부터 마시지 말고 공부나 열심히 해. Okay? For your additional note, recently people combine with drinking or one shot with this idiom. For example, if you say 김치국 one shot, it sounds like you alone jumped into the wrong conclusion. If you say this, your native Korean friends will be so surprised by your deep Korean knowledge. Okay, that kind of surprise is always very good, right? Now, let's look at the next idiom, 시치미를 떼다. The literal translation of this idiom is take out the shichimi. Back in the day, people in Korea often hunted by using hawks. Shichimi originally referred to the tags. Tags were tied to a hawk, containing the owner's address so others would know who the hawk belonged to. If taken off, no one would know who owns the given hawk. From this story, this idiom came to mean pretend that one did not do what he or she actually did. In other words, play innocent or play dumb. Let's read some sample sentences with this idiom. 내가 한 거 아니야. I didn't do it. 시치미 떼지 마. 너 아니면 누가 해? Don't play innocent. Who'd do it if it's not you? The idiom 시치미를 떼다 is used like this, but I really don't want to be a part of such conversations. Would you? Next is the idiom 삼천포로 빠지다. 삼천포 was a small port town in southern Korea. Once upon a time, a certain merchant was going to Jinju, where the market was flourishing. but got lost in the way and ended up in 산천포, where the market was poor. This idiom came from this story and means to get sidetracked or something goes in a completely different direction. Now, let's read some sample sentences. 지금 무슨 얘기를 해요? What are you talking about now? 미안해요. 이야기가 삼천포로 빠져버렸네요. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. Okay. Additionally, people nowadays use the idiom 이야기가 옆으로 새다, which have the same meaning as 삼천포로 빠지다. Quiz! Now, let's deepen our understanding by taking some simple quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 아이는 그릇을 깨고도 The child played innocent even though he broke the dish. Number 1. 스치미를 뗐다. Number 2. 삼천포로 빠졌다. The correct answer is number 1. 스치미를 떼다 means to play innocent, right? You want to make a past tense by attaching 산시역. So the best answer is 스치미를 뗐다, played innocent. Let's read aloud together. 아이는 그릇을 깨고도 스치미를 뗐다. Please read aloud at least 3 times, imagining that you are explaining what happened to your Korean friends. Now, let's move on to the next question. 아직 선물 준다는 말도 안 했는데 I haven't told you that I would be giving this to you as a present yet, so don't jump to the wrong conclusion. Number 1, 김치국부터 마시지 마. Number 2, 딴짓하지 마. The correct answer is number 1. 김치국부터 마시다 means to jump to the wrong conclusion. Since you want to say don't do something, you attach 지마 to the stem to say 김치국부터 마시지 마. Let's read the sentence together. 아직 선물 준다는 말도 안 했는데 김치국부터 마시지 마. Please read it at least 3 times, imagining that you are talking about this to your friend. Now, let's learn 4-character idioms. In Korean, 4-character idioms have such profound meanings. Besides, you can express your deep thoughts for just 4 Chinese characters. No wonder Korean people love to use these idioms, right? Now, I'll introduce commonly used 4-character idioms. For example, 일석이조 means to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and 자포자기 means to surrender oneself to despair. 7.8기 means to stand up 8 times after falling down 7 times. It's expressing the importance of making incessant efforts despite failures. Korean people use 함흥차사. You can use it when someone who you sent for an errand does not return, or when you didn't receive any reply from someone. 설상가상 means frost added on piles of snow. This is similar to the English idiom misfortune never comes alone. It expresses that suffering occurs one after another. So that's a little bit painful idiom, right? 속수무책 comes from the literal phrase nothing can be done with hands bound and means to be helpless or to get stuck. 팔방미인 means a person who is talented in many ways, an all-rounder or multi-talented, which has quite positive connotations. It often refers to women. Now, let's read sample sentences and see how these 4-character idioms are used. This time, I will present 2 sample sentences without commentary. 좋아하는 노래도 듣고 한국어도 공부할 수 있어서 일석이조야. I can listen to my favorite songs and learn Korean. This is like killing 2 birds in 1 stone. 전철을 놓쳤는데 설상가상으로 핸드폰까지 놓고 나와서 연락할 수도 없었다. I was late for the train and forgot to bring my phone, so I couldn't call. Misfortune never comes alone. Okay, did you get the feeling? Quiz! Now let's deepen our understanding by taking some simple quizzes. Which one is the correct answer? 오빠는 심부름 가서 아직 안 왔어요? Has your brother not come back yet from running errands? 나간 지 한참 됐는데. 네, it's been a while since he left. I've heard nothing. Number 1, 함흥차사. Number 2, 칠전팔기. The correct answer is number 1, 함흥차사, which means someone went for an errand and did not return. The second option, 칠전팔기, refers to make incessant efforts despite failures. Now, let's read it together. 나간 지 한참 됐는데 함흥차사네. Please read this part at least 3 times, imagining that you're worrying about your brother. Let's move on to the next quiz. 저 선배는 정말 못하는 게 없는 이구나. That senior student is so multi-talented that she really doesn't have anything she can't do. Number 1, 천하태평. Number 2, 팔방미인. The correct answer is number 2. 팔방미인 means multi-talented person. The first option, 천하태평, refers to a person who is carefree and relaxed. Now, let's read the following sentence cheerfully together. 저 선배는 정말 못하는 게 없는 팔방미인이구나. Okay, you can probably use this sentence to refer to women. And don't forget to read out loud at least 3 times. Now, let's learn the next grammar. 답다 and 스럽다. Something like or the. 답다 is usually attached to a noun and make adjectives such as 남자답다, to be manly, 사람답다, to be humanly, 학생답다, to be student-like, and 어른답다, to be adult-like. In fact, 스럽다 is attached to nouns or some word stems to create words that means to be apparently something or to look like something. For example, 어른스럽다 means to look like an adult. 고급스럽다 means to be apparently luxurious, to look luxurious. 자랑스럽다 means to look proud, and 의심스럽다 means to look suspicious. Please keep in mind that 답다 and 스럽다 both applies to 비읍 irregular. If you wonder what 비읍 irregular is, please watch the beginner level video number 14 regarding your form. Now, let's read an example sentence. 사탕을 좋아하는 걸 보니까 정말 아이답다. From your love of candy, you really seem like a child. Here, 아이 is a child. 답다 is attached to it to be 아이답다, to be childlike. Let's read the next sample sentence. 내일 발표가 정말 부담스러워요. Tomorrow's presentation is really burdensome. Here, 부담 is burden. If you attach 스럽다, it becomes 부담스럽다, to be burdensome or to feel pressured. This phrase, 부담스럽다, is a very good expression. Native Korean speakers frequently use this expression when they are pressured and stressed out. I recommend memorizing this phrase as it is. Okay? Next, let's read a sample sentence that uses 스럽다. 자연스럽게 행동하면 아무도 눈치채지 못할 거야. I guess nobody will notice if you act naturally. Wow, maybe you can hear this in a criminal drama show, don't you think? Here, 자연 means nature. If you attach 스럽다, it becomes to be natural. Therefore, 자연스럽게 means naturally. Quiz! Now, let's deepen your understanding with a few sample quizzes. Please tell me aloud the answer. 주저하지 말고 말해요. Don't hesitate and speak like a man. Number 1, 남자답다. Number 2, 남자답게. Wow, I can imagine this phrase in Korean drama. Don't hesitate to confess your love. Be a man. Like this, okay? Anyway, enough for drama. Let's go back to the quiz. The correct answer is number 2. Here, 남자 is a man. If you say 남자답다, it will mean to be manly. But number 1 is incorrect. Since you want to say to be like a man instead of to be manly. Therefore, 남자답게 is the correct answer. Now, let's read the following sentence together. 주저하지 말고 남자답게 말해요. Okay, please read out loud this sentence at least 3 times, imagining that you are pushing your indecisive friend. Now, let's move on to the next question. 역시 생각이야. Of course, this is so like you to think this way. Number 1, 너다운. Number 2, 너답게. The correct answer is number 1. Here, no is you, right? You can say 너답다 to express it's so you. Additionally, since you want to modify the noun and say so like you to think this way, you can apply the grammar 은이은 plus noun and say 너다운 생각. You didn't forget this grammar, did you? If you want to review it, you can watch beginner level number 38. Okay? Now, let's read it together. 역시 너다운 생각이야. Please read aloud this part at least 3 times, imagining that you are complimenting your Korean friends. Wow, that's great! You've learned a lot so far. Wonderful! Now, I'll give you the gift of homework. 독 줄 사람은 생각도 없는데 혼자 김치국 원샷. Come on, homework! The first homework assignment is to create 3 sentences using the phrases that we learned today. For the first sentence, please write a sentence using the idioms that you learned today, or idioms that you already know. For example, 언니는 눈이 너무 높아서 결혼 못할 것 같아요. Because my sister's expectations are too high, I don't think she'll be able to get married. Alright, here I used an idiom, 눈이 높다, which means to have high expectations. For the second sentence, let's use 4-character idioms. For example, 집을 살 때는 반드시 심사숙고해야 합니다. When you buy a house, you must consider it seriously. Indeed, this is true, right? You have to be really mindful to buy a house. Here, I used 심사숙고, which means to consider seriously. For the third sentence, please make a sentence by using 답다 or 스럽다 to be like. For example, 갑작스럽게 왜 한밤중에 전화야? Why did you call me suddenly in the middle of night? You'd be surprised if you receive a call in the middle of night, right? Nowadays, I get surprised when I receive a call even in the daytime. Anyway, I am looking forward to reading your homework comments. Be sure to surprise me by using idioms. The second part of the homework assignment is memorizing vocabulary. Please memorize 40 words from number 161 to 200 on page 3 of the intermediate vocabulary list. Also, I have a small gift for you. There is a small test as this is the 5th lesson. This test covers lesson number 1 to 5. I will leave the link in the description of this video. That's all for today. Good job, everyone. 실전 8기 is one of my favorite 4-character idioms. Let's rise up many times even after falling several times. Let's move forward every time. And I know you can do it for sure. 그럼 오늘도 행복 가득, 웃음 가득한 하루 되세요. 한국어 파이팅 파이팅 파이팅!